Today we are looking at the new Gen 2 Forte Formula Wheel by Asetek Sport. Now, you might have noticed here, they have completely redesigned this wheel from the bottom up. It's an entirely different steering wheel. You can't even compare it to the Generation 1. No, they did not redesign their wheel, and you know what? This was a fantastic move by Asetek, and I'll tell you why. Before we start, the necessary disclaimer. Asetek did send this new beautiful Gen 2 Forte Formula and these LMP grips my way so that I can make a review for you. I also have an affiliate link with Asetek. It is Sim Circuit. You put that in at checkout and you're saving yourself 5%. Now, this is at no extra cost to yourself. However, if you do use my code or any of the links below, then Asetek knows I sent you their way, and because of it, they send a little bit of moolah my way, which is very much appreciated. Like I said, it's at no extra cost to you. In fact, you're saving yourself 5%. It is my job as a reviewer to show you the good and the bad of the wheel. Now, I can happily say there's nothing bad about this wheel over here. However, there are about 2 or maybe 3 things that I personally would have done differently, and you know, an area or 2 where I think improvements can be made. And yeah, as the video progresses, I'll point those little bits out to you as well. Please consider subscribing. You know, these videos take me about 20 hours to make. I'm not even joking. That's how long it takes me. I am fairly slow at the editing. That is my nemesis. But I'm trying my best to make this quick and punchy. So let's just get straight into the price. The way you buy this Forte steering wheel from Asetek is a little bit different now. You buy these handles separately from the button plate itself. So, in the box that Asetek sends you, for 499 euros or dollars, you get this Forte Formula 2 button plate. That includes your 2 shifters on the back and the button plate itself. You also get a nice sheet of stickers, and yeah, you can then stick these, you know, wherever you prefer to do so. And I do recommend you do stick your stickers, take your time, put them in nicely, because yeah, in my opinion, it really improves how the wheel looks overall. Other than that, you're going to have to buy yourself some grips or handles. These over here are the LMP grips. They will set you back 70 euros. You then get the normal Formula grips. These would set you back $75 or euros. You get the extra large Formula grips, and these are the ones I prefer. I mean, I do like a thick one, you know. I'm more accustomed to holding something like that. I wish. But the ones I really want, which is the only handles unfortunately I don't have here to show you, is the suede grips. These would set you back $100, and yeah, basically they are the same as the regular Formula grips. However, they are made, you know, from suede, and it's a nice vivid black. I think it actually, from other pictures and images I've seen by Asetek, it really does, even in my opinion, make the wheel look even that little bit nicer. But it is now nice that you have a choice. You're not forced to, you know, take the Formula grips that used to come with a Gen 1 if you prefer the LMP grip. So now the choice is yours, and I think that's a fantastic move by Asetek, so well done. So like I said in my intro, Asetek has not made any major changes to this wheel. In fact, all the changes you see here are just cosmetic. They've now opted here for your aluminium encoders, your funky, or they call it kinky switches. Yeah, Asetek is kinky, as you know. And yeah, these here are all aluminium. Even the buttons are aluminium, and your thumb rotor encoders are also now aluminium. And do you know what? I think it's a huge difference in how this wheel actually feels. If I show you here on the Gen 1, this here, see, especially these thumb rotary encoders, these over here, to me, they felt very toy-like. They, you know, you can tell the difference in quality is day and night. I would say if you were to put these 2 wheels on a table like I have here, and you have 1,000 people queue up, I think 999 of them is going to pick this wheel over here. It's a no-brainer. It really, even the feel, actually handling the wheel, it just feels a lot more premium. So well done, Asetek. I do believe that one person in 1,000 is going to pick this one will be visually impaired. But same as on the Gen 1, this is still a 290mm diameter wheel. Unless you opted for the extra large Formula handles, it makes the wheel a little bit wider, I think at 294mm. Now, I think the diameter of a wheel is absolutely perfect for, open wheelers, Formula cars, and also GT cars. If they made this wheel any smaller, like 280, it would have been, I'd say just suited for Formula cars and not as much for GT cars. I think this is a perfect in the middle ground for, to cover you for whatever discipline you might need. Now, this obviously is not a round wheel, so I won't suggest buying this if you prefer rally driving or drifting or, what have you. Other than that, you still have the same 12 push buttons on here. They are now aluminium, and yeah, these feel absolutely fantastic. All of them feel identical, and you need a nice firm press, and they are very nice and clicky. I do like the buttons. There's a little bit of wiggle to them, you can see there, but, honestly, this is something that doesn't bother me even in the slightest. You get your 3 thumb rotary encoders here in the front. These are very nice and stiff, and I absolutely love them. I think they feel absolutely perfect. Things like changing your ABS or your traction control, you can be super precise. I know 1, 2, 3. I've made 3 clicks. I made 1 click, 2 clicks. I feel everything, every indentation. It's very, very nice. Even these new knobs they have here are very nice and grippy. So even with gloves, I don't think you're going to have any issues whatsoever using them. Over here, you've got your kinky switches. These here doubles obviously as rotaries, and they 7-way as most of these kinky switches or funky switches, whatever you want to call them. And then you get your 6 thumb rotary encoders over here, and these are a little bit easier to move than what these 3 encoders in the front would be. These here, I think, are absolutely perfect for changing things like, your game volume, or even my brake bias. I know I've got a sticker here for my brake bias there, but I've now changed it. I actually prefer changing my brake bias with this top right one over here. You get these 2 toggle switches. Now, this is the first, the same thing on the Gen 1 I mentioned in my previous review. I do not like these. These are like little condoms that they've put over here. You can see you can unscrew these, and it's like this little rubber. In my opinion, not as nice, does not feel as premium as the rest of a wheel now, as well as it's very loose. It's springy, it's loose. I think even if they just stiffened it up, I would have probably been a lot more happy. Would I have missed these toggle switches if they were not on the wheel? I probably would not have, but it is of course nice that they are there. And maybe if you want to put, say, your windscreen wipers or, horn, I don't know in what game you would use your horn, but there you go. Options are there for you. PPB is not something I just made up. It is actually a real thing. Price per button. Normally wheels, the more buttons and things are on the wheel, the more you pay for the wheel. The amount of inputs over here is staggering. I mean, 12 buttons, 3 encoders in the front, 2 funky switches, you got toggle switches, thumb rotary encoders, and then on the back you have the possibility to add extra magnetic inputs over here, and you get your clutch pedal sets are all extra. I believe these are 38 euros or dollars, and you know what? I think it's absolutely perfect. You're not paying an absolute fortune to add these onto your steering wheel, and of course if you don't need them, you don't need to buy them. One of the areas I would like Asetek to improve on are the shifters. Now I know what you think. You think, oh, I just said they are perfect a minute ago, and now I'm contradicting myself. No, listen. Fanatec, for example, they offer the advanced pedal module, and that comes at a price. You're paying $200 to get those, pedals and shifters. And I would like Asetek to implement something like that. They've now completely revamped the front. This whole wheel feels premium at the front. However, I do think these here can be improved. These are all made out of plastic, and yeah, they are perfect for what they are. You can add these extra pedals or clutches on for 38 euros or dollars a piece, which is an absolute bargain, to add those extra inputs to your Forte wheel, or now you can even add them now onto the Primas, which is fantastic. So having that option is great. I would like Asetek to have another option, an Invicta option, where not just the face plates like within the Invicta's carbon, but perhaps all shifters carbon. The shift itself maybe feel that little bit more crisp, you know. Because let me tell you, Asetek makes fantastic wheels. In my opinion, this wheel here is better than most of the Fanatec wheels. They make better wheels. Asetek does. But guess what, Asetek? This might sting you a little bit, but it is true. Fanatec makes better shifters than you.
Fanatec makes better shifters than you. Fanatec makes better shifters than you.
In fact, my GT Neo, which is 200 euros or dollars less than this wheel here, also has better shifters on the back. So this is something I would like to see. Just an option, an extra option. Keep making these because yeah, a lot of the people buying the Prima and the Fortes are going to be dead happy with these shifters and these magnetic inputs and the clutches. Perfecto. However, just having that extra option there, I'm sure that 80% of people who bought your Invicta steering wheel, I'd love to get my hands on one of them. Hint, hint. You know, I think 80% of people who actually spent that type of money on a steering wheel, like the Invicta, would then go and buy the premium set of shifters, magnetic inputs, and, you know, clutches. I really think so. So just something to think about. While we're on the pedals here, with all of them, you can move them in and out like this. Do not undo this screw completely. There's this tiny little square nut on the back, and if this thing comes out, it's an absolute bastard. It's a bastard to put back. I've had it once or twice where I unscrewed it before. You just need to loosen it to, you know, move it. If you want to extend it that little bit, you then take your Allen key and you tighten it down. I actually prefer it the way it comes, and it covers the screw hole there, and then boom, you just tighten that like so, and you can see now it's nice and stiff. Other than that, while we are on the back of a wheel, this here does come fitted with your Asetek quick release on the back, and this is, in my opinion, the best quick release for sim racing. I'm not going to take my steering wheel and put it in my pretend GT3 car. Look how little you see out of that rear view mirror. Wow! First time in a car like this. Wow! It was worth it just for this. Fantastic. Now getting out, don't laugh.
Kommt ja auch von Asetek zu iRacing oder andersrum, wir wechseln auch. Ich bin iRacing. Ich habe aktuell halt mehr als 24er Spar gefahren mit dem Alex oder so, oder ich fahre halt viel NEC.
Like a pro. Do it every weekend, huh? You know, I don't need it to be. What I need from a quick release is something that is easy. This can't be any easier. I want something that is rock solid. This is rock solid quick release, and I don't want any wires hanging. So this is something that I think Asetek has done a phenomenal job on, is the quick release. Now, if you do want to have a quick release and you want to use Asetek quick release, they do sell this third-party attachment. I've made a review of this. I'll link it towards the end of the video for you. And I believe this here will set you back $120 or $30. I might be wrong. I'll put the price here. But then you can use Asetek steering wheels on here, or if like myself you just love the whole quick release so much, and I mean, look here on my GSI wheel, this is a FPE V2. I don't have a single wire. I don't need to use that port in there anymore. I just plug and I go. So if you do like that, you can buy one of these, and then whether you're on a SimuCube base or, you know, Moza base or SimMagic, whatever, you can then use the Asetek quick release. But just keep in mind that is quite an expensive route, because each of these, you're gonna pay $100 every time extra if you buy a wheel to, you know, add a quick release onto it, unless you're buying something like the Forte where it's already attached. So yeah, perfecto, the quick release. Before we get to the layout of this wheel, and the layout is what I personally think is the biggest selling point of this Forte formula, I just want to talk a little bit about these grips. Now, if you like to drive with gloves, yes, you can use any of the grips available. I would say if you are someone who prefers not to use gloves, I would not recommend any of the formula grips. These get very, very slippery as your hands get clammy, and yeah, they just I think they're not made for, not driving with gloves. These here and the Alcantara, of course, you're going to want to wear gloves. Alcantara, when you use your clammy, sweaty hands on it, it becomes very yucky. The Alcantara, it becomes, just doesn't look as good. So for them, definitely wear gloves. If you do not like wearing gloves, I highly recommend you get yourself these LMP grips. The material is a little bit different, and I can tell these are a lot more grippy when I'm using it without gloves. And also the fact that you can tuck your fingers in over there just makes us, these grips here are more suited if you are driving bare hands, but of course they're going to work just as well, if not better, when you are using gloves. I would like to show you the quick release here. Now first let me switch on my wheel, there we go, and you can see this is the light up effect, and now it seems like the wheel is having an aneurysm, but this is just the idle mode, one of the screens you can pick from, and it just looks pretty when you're not racing, of course. But let me show you here. Yeah, as easy as this, click it in, that's me going. You maybe fancy a bit of, you know, Mazda racing, rallying, what have you. Asetek also now offers this in like a dished version, which I unfortunately don't have. And you can see here earlier I told you about the stickers. You know, the stickers really do make, it just looks very lit up at the moment. If you put the stickers on here on top of the buttons, you know, the wheel looks a bit more subtle and the LEDs look like they have a bit more purpose. But this Forte GT button plate I will review at a later time. And yeah, let's get back onto the Forte formula, click it in, look at that, I mean, wow. And look, this is rock solid, I mean rock solid. I can move my entire rig, right? I can move this entire rig, but this shaft and this steering wheel is rock solid. I mean, look at it is absolutely rock solid. That's what you want in a quick release. I don't have wires hanging here. I've got all my data, my LEDs, everything is lit up from just that. Look here, just like that. Sim Salabim. The biggest selling point of this wheel is 100% this button layout over here. You can definitely tell Asetek has put some thought into this, and I believe they did consult with Kevin Magnussen. So you can definitely tell he's had some inspiration in making the Gen 1 wheel and the layout. And yeah, that is evident because look here, I can touch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons without even removing my hand off this wheel. Then I've got a 6 button on this side, and yeah, even that is easy to reach. Look here, I have to make a minor adjustment, but even that is so easy to reach. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 thumb rotary encoders here, which is so easy to get to. I don't need to shift. I can be like literally like this and I can still make my adjustments. It is absolutely perfect. Not forgetting the toggle switches. I do need to stretch a tiny bit for them, but even that is just, I mean, look at my hand. It's the tiniest of stretches, and then you've got your extra inputs over here. I use this kinky switch, as Asetek calls it, I use for my black box and to do my pit stops. And yeah, it is so easy. Look, I can drive, and as I'm on the straight, I just go and I adjust my fuel levels or whatever, and then boom, go off and away I am. Everything is laid out perfectly. And then of course you have the extra pedals on the back. Personally, I don't even use these pedals on the back. The clutch pedals I do use, you know, in the Porsche Cup for my standing starts, but other than that, these here, to be honest, they're extra pedals. I've got so many buttons here that I barely use these, but yeah, they are there for you if you want to. And look here, boom, off away we go. Now honestly, Asetek has done an absolute wunderbar job of laying out this wheel. I mean, the only buttons that you actually have to reach for would be these encoders over here, and I use them for ABS and traction control, and these are things you're not changing every, you know, few seconds anyway. And yeah, these here at the bottom are a little bit of a stretch. That's why I've got my game volume over here, and I've got my page up and down, things that I do change during a race, but not that often. I put just here out of the way. But no, honestly, perfectly laid out steering wheel. Very briefly, I want to discuss the LEDs on the steering wheel. Now, what is very odd to me, right, is you see this nice big rev bar you've got here at the top, and then you've got 3 flag lights here, which is not currently on. Those lights there, you can control on sum up. but for some reason, you can't control the rest of the buttons, the other lights on the steering wheel, you can't control on SimHub. So why is it only half compatible and half not? I don't understand that. I really would love to see full compatibility with SimHub. It is great that in Asetek software, I can very quickly change the colors of any buttons to, the color I prefer. If I want, you can see here when I push a button, that lights up red there, so I know I've made an input. Asetek has obviously gone a different route. The button itself does not light up. They have put the button on top of the button itself. Now, I take it or leave it. It doesn't matter to me whether the light is on top of a button or, if the button itself is a light. I do like the fact that I know me pushing this button a million times, there's not going to be a sticker that's going to fall off or move about. That could be a benefit with putting the little LEDs on top of the buttons. Other than that, if you want to switch off a button like I have here with my toggle switches, I did not like having these buttons on. I felt it was just too close to that little light over there, but I do have it when I make an input. You can see there it just pops up blue, so it is nice that you have the option. If you want to switch any of the LEDs off, you can do so. Now, why do I want SimHub compatibility? At the moment, let's say for example I've got a blue flag in the race. I made a oopsie. I'm a lap or two down, and now there's a faster car approaching. My entire wheel lights up blue. Now Asetek does very nicely in the software give you the option whether you just want these little flag lights here lighting up and the rest of the steering wheel will stay that your preferred colors like they are here, or you can have the entire wheel light up. I love the entire wheel lighting up. If there's an incident up ahead, I want my wheel being yellow. I want to know, okay, something's happened up ahead, I got to be careful. But now I've got a blue flag behind me, okay? The entire wheel is blue. I would not, if I had SimHub compatibility, I myself would have made these 3 rings just flash blue, and that would have been sufficient for me. But now the entire wheel is blue, and let's say for example a car is coming past me and my spotter lights, so these lights here light up to tell me there's a car on my right hand side. That color is blue. It's like a faint blue color. So now it is blue on blue, and you just don't see it as well. And unfortunately, in Asetek software, you cannot change any of the colors when it comes to the telemetry data, like the spot on the left, spot on the right, the ABS, traction control, any of those things. You cannot change the color of it. I don't know why, because really it should be an easy thing for them to implement in the software. But yeah, I would love to see this entire wheel work with SimHub. I think it would be the cherry on top and make this wheel absolutely more magnifique than what it already is. My final thoughts. What do I think about this Asetek Gen 2 Forte Formula wheel? Listen here, it's still got that amazing button layout. Honestly, second to none, this button layout. You've got every input you need at thumb's reach, which is sublime. Then you've got this quick release. Honestly, the best in the business. Look at that. It is perfecto. And then that is included. You don't need to go and spend an extra 120 to buy yourself a quick release on the wheel. That is factored into the price already. This is a big selling point for you if you already have an Asetek base, or if you are looking to buy into the Asetek ecosystem. Honestly, that quick release for me was a major selling point, and I have no regards in, any of these things. The Invicta I bought myself. This Gen 1 wheel I bought myself. Now, talking about this Gen 1 wheel, what has Asetek done? They've used some more premium materials. It definitely 100% when I'm playing here with these different encoders, you can feel the difference when you are handling the wheel. It's definitely a higher quality wheel that now I think reflects the price point that Asetek is asking for this wheel. And compared to the La Prima before, I don't think there were that much reasons to pay that much more extra for the Forte, because the La Prima, besides for having the brushed aluminium back and missing a few encoders here, you were paying an extra 150 euros. Now I think that because the La Prima still comes with these plastic bits and buttons, I 100% think now it's worth you paying that little bit extra if you want to have a nicer wheel and buy the Forte wheel. Yeah, and Asetek definitely addressed the biggest problem. Look here. I mean, this here is definitely the better looking of it too. Asetek made kind of, fantastic wheel, but yeah, it was a bit of an ugly duckling. Now, you're getting a fantastic wheel that the buttons, everything feel absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it just works. 100%. Can I recommend this wheel to you? Yes. Yes, I can. There's some small subtle changes, like I mentioned, nothing major whatsoever. I would give this wheel 9 out of 10 every day of the week, and thank you very, very, very much, Asetek, for sending me this way. This wheel is going to be well, and I mean truly, truly well used. Thank you for that. If you do find any of my reviews helpful, please consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up. Those are ways that you can help support me, and it doesn't cost you a penny. Of course, if you are interested in buying any Asetek gear, I can save you 5% with my code SIMCircuit. And as always, I hope your next race guy is a winner. Hallelujah.